ज्ञान के प्रसार, उसकी अभिवृद्धि एवं उत्तरोत्तर नवीनता लाने के उद्देश्य से इस विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना की गई थी। संसाधनों के अभाव के बावजूद हमने बड़े सपने देखे, कड़ी मेहनत की, अपनी सफलताओं असफलताओं से सबक सीखा। हमारे दृढ़ संकल्प और अथक परिश्रम का ही परिणाम है कि आज ये विश्वविद्यालय इतने कम समय में 27 विभागों, 110 संकायों तथा 2500 छात्रों के साथ हमारे समक्ष उपस्थित है। ये अत्यंत हर्ष व गर्व का विषय है कि हमारे विश्वविद्यालय ने देश के विकास के लिए विद्यार्थियों के रूप में मानव शक्ति के बौद्धिक, शैक्षिक तथा सांस्कृतिक विकास को ध्यान में रखते हुए स्थापना काल से अद्यतन शिक्षा, शोध एवं सामाजिक गतिविधियों में उल्लेखनीय कार्य किया है तथा इसी महत्वाकांक्षी उद्यम के जरिए यहाँ के विद्वान शिक्षकों एवं शिक्षार्थियों ने राष्ट्रीय तथा अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर ख्याति प्राप्त की है। निश्चय ही हम एक लंबा सफर तय कर चुके हैं, लेकिन अभी और लंबा सफर तय करना बाकी है। कदम मजबूत है, ताकत आश्वस्त कर रही है, लेकिन चुनौतियां भी कम नहीं है। आज 2 मार्च 2021 को हम 12वां स्थापना दिवस मना रहे हैं, जो केरल केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय के जीवन का एक और ऐतिहासिक क्षण है। आपका इस समारोह में हार्दिक स्वागत है।
നമസ്കാരം. കേരള കേന്ദ്ര സർവകലാശാലയുടെ 12ാമത് ശിലാസ്ഥാപന ദിനാഘോഷ ചടങ്ങുകളിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. ആദരണീയനായ കേരള ഗവർണർ ശ്രീ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ ശിലാസ്ഥാപന ദിന പ്രഭാഷണം ഈ വേദിയിൽ നിർവഹിക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും. നിർമ്മാണം പൂർത്തിയാക്കിയ നീലഗിരി ഗസ്റ്റ് ഹൗസിന്റെ ഉദ്ഘാടനവും ഇന്ന് നിർവഹിക്കപ്പെടുന്നു. ശിലാസ്ഥാപന ദിനാഘോഷ ചടങ്ങുകളിൽ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ഗവർണറോടൊപ്പം കേന്ദ്ര വിദേശകാര്യ സഹമന്ത്രി ശ്രീ വി മുരളീധരൻ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്നതാണ്. Warm welcome to the 12th Foundation Day ceremony of the Central University of Kerala. The occasion would also witness the inauguration of the newly constructed University Guest House, Nilagiri, by the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan. He will also deliver the Foundation Day lecture. Sri V. Muralidharan, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, will be the guest of honor. We welcome you all once again warmly to this wonderful event. Years ago, on this day, was born a humble center of learning in a makeshift building with just 2 academic programs and hardly 50 students. But we dreamt big, strove hard, braved odds, learned our lessons, and most importantly, our eyes and minds never wandered from the goals our architects had set. And here we are, the Central University of Kerala, with 27 departments, 110 teachers, and 2,500 students. We have come a long way, but have longer to traverse. The steps are firmer, the strengths are reassuring, but the challenges are ever more formidable. Foundation Day is both an occasion for savoring proud moments and aspiring after many new. Today, on 2nd March 2021, we celebrate our 12th Foundation Day, marking another historic moment in CUK's life story. Warm welcome to one and all. The Honorable Minister of State, Sri V. Muralidharan has arrived. Let's accord him a warm welcome. The Honorable Minister of State, Sri V. Muralidharan is here with us. He has graciously accepted our invitation and we put on record our infinite gratitude to you, sir.
श्री वी मुरलीधरन माननीय राज्य मंत्री विदेश मंत्रालय भारत सरकार हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं। आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। वर्ष पूर्व आज ही के दिन मात्र 2 शैक्षणिक कार्यक्रमों और केवल 50 छात्रों के साथ एक काम चलाओ साधारण सी इमारत में ज्ञान के प्रसार, उसकी अभिवृद्धि एवं उत्तरोत्तर नवीनता लाने के उद्देश्य से इस विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना की गई थी। संसाधनों के अभाव के बावजूद हमने बड़े सपने देखे, कड़ी मेहनत की, अपनी असफलताओं से सबक सीखा। हमारे दृढ़ संकल्प और अथक परिश्रम का ही परिणाम है कि आज ये विश्वविद्यालय इतने कम समय में 27 विभागों, 110 संकायों तथा 2500 छात्रों के साथ हमारे समक्ष उपस्थित है। ये अत्यंत हर्ष व गर्व का विषय है कि हमारे विश्वविद्यालय ने देश के विकास के लिए विद्यार्थियों के रूप में मानव शक्ति के बौद्धिक, शैक्षिक तथा सांस्कृतिक विकास को ध्यान में रखते हुए स्थापना काल से अद्यतन शिक्षा, शोध एवं सामाजिक गतिविधियों में उल्लेखनीय कार्य किया है तथा इसी महत्वाकांक्षी उद्यम के जरिए यहाँ के विद्वान शिक्षकों एवं शिक्षार्थियों ने राष्ट्रीय तथा अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर ख्याति प्राप्त की है। निश्चय ही हम एक लंबा सफर तय कर चुके हैं, लेकिन अभी और लंबा सफर तय करना बाकी है। कदम मजबूत है, ताकत आश्वस्त कर रही है, लेकिन चुनौतियां भी कम नहीं। आज 2 मार्च 2021 को हम 12वां स्थापना दिवस मना रहे हैं, जो केरल केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय के जीवन का एक और ऐतिहासिक क्षण है। आप सबका इस समारोह में हार्दिक स्वागत।
2500-ൽ പരം വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളുമായി അക്കാദമിക ഗവേഷണ ഉന്നമനത്തിന്റെ പുതിയ പന്ഥാവുകൾ തുറന്നുകൊണ്ട് അതിന്റെ പ്രയാണം തുടരുന്നു. 12ാമത് ശിലാസ്ഥാപന ദിനാഘോഷ ചടങ്ങുകളിലേക്ക് ഏവർക്കും ഹാർദമായ സ്വാഗതം. ആദരണീയനായ കേരള ഗവർണർ ശ്രീ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ ഈ വേദിയിൽ ശിലാസ്ഥാപന ദിന പ്രഭാഷണം നടത്തും. നിർമ്മാണം പൂർത്തിയാക്കിയ നീലഗിരി ഗസ്റ്റ് ഹൌസിന്റെ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ഇന്ന് നിർവഹിക്കപ്പെടുന്നു. ശിലാസ്ഥാപന ദിനാഘോഷ ചടങ്ങുകളിൽ കേന്ദ്ര വിദേശകാര്യ സഹമന്ത്രി ശ്രീ വി മുരളീധരൻ വിശിഷ്ടാതിഥിയായിരിക്കും. Hearty welcome to the 12th Foundation Day ceremony of the Central University of Kerala. The occasion would also witness the inauguration of the newly constructed University Guest House, Nilagiri, by the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan. He will also deliver the Foundation Day lecture. Sri V. Muralidharan, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, will be the guest of honor.
केरल केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय के 12वें स्थापना दिवस समारोह में आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत है। इस शुभ अवसर पर केरल के माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान द्वारा विश्वविद्यालय के नवनिर्मित अतिथि गृह नीलगिरी का उद्घाटन किया जाएगा। इसके साथ ही वे अपने मूल्यवान विचारों को व्यक्त करेंगे। श्री वी मुरलीधरन माननीय राज्य मंत्री विदेश मंत्रालय भारत सरकार विशिष्ट अतिथि होंगे। आप सबका स्वागत है।
Arif Muhammad Khan, who has been holding the gubernatorial office since 2019, has proved his mettle as statesman and administrator both in the state of Kerala and the Union government. We are extremely fortunate to be blessed by the presence of the Honorable Governor here. Sri V. Muralidharan, the organizational man, has effectively deployed his political acumen and organizational ability in discharging his responsibilities to the country, especially in testing times. We place on record our gratitude to the Honorable Governor and the Honorable Minister for graciously accepting our invitation.
VM-ന്റെ പേജ്
നമ്മ പേജിൽ തന്നെ പോകുന്നു ഇപ്പോൾ ഫേസ്ബുക്കിന്റെ
നിങ്ങളുടെ സെൻട്രൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി VM-ന്റെ
അപ്പോൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇപ്പോൾ
The Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan, is arriving in this auditorium.
അല്ല നിങ്ങൾ എന്തായാലും ലൈവ് പോകുന്നല്ലോ
And we'll begin the ceremony in a short while. The Honorable Governor is arriving in this auditorium in a few seconds. केरल के माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान
അത് ബ്ലോക്ക് ചെയ്യും രണ്ടുപേര് വെയിറ്റിംഗിലാണ് വെക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി
जल्द ही पधार रहे हैं। शीघ्र ही हम स्थापना दिवस का कार्यक्रम शुरू करेंगे।
ആ എന്തായാലും ക്യാമറ വരും വൈഡ് വരുമ്പോൾ
നിങ്ങൾ
കുറച്ച് ബാക്കോട്ട്
നല്ല ബെസ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ കുറച്ച് ഡൗൺ കൊടുത്തു
ഡൗൺ കൊടുത്തിരുന്നു ഫുൾ ഡൗൺ കൊടുത്തു
ഡൗൺ കൊടുത്തിട്ടേ ഈ പൊസിഷനിൽ വെച്ചാൽ
ആ.
കറക്റ്റ് കൊടുത്ത പ്രശ്നമില്ല.
ഫുൾ ഡൗൺ ചെയ്താ
മൊബൈലല്ലേ എന്താ നല്ല ഇത് അല്ല കുറച്ചും കൂടി ഡൗൺ കൊടുക്കുക. അല്ല ഇത് നിങ്ങൾ ഡൗൺ കൊടുത്താൽ ഒരു പ്രശ്നമില്ല.
അല്ല എനിക്ക് വൈഡ് വെക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല.
അല്ല ഇവർക്ക് ഡൗൺ കൊടുത്താൽ മതി. മൊബൈൽ ആയതുകൊണ്ട് കറക്റ്റ് കിട്ടും.
കുറച്ച് കിട്ടും.
നമ്മൾ ഇതുപോലെ അല്ലല്ലോ ആ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇത് പോട്ടെ
നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റാർട്ടായി
നിങ്ങൾ വെച്ച് നോക്കാം.
The Honorable Governor Sri Arif Muhammad Khan has arrived. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, accompanied by the deans of various schools, are receiving the Honorable Governor to this auditorium. Sri Arif Muhammad Khan, who has been holding the gubernatorial office since 2019, has proved his mettle as statesman and administrator, both in the state of Kerala and the Union Government. We place on record our infinite gratitude to the Honorable Governor and the Honorable Minister of State.
ഓക്കെ
Warm welcome to one and all to the 12th Central University of Kerala Foundation Day ceremony. We are beginning the ceremony. I request you to rise for the national anthem and thereafter for the CU Kerala anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request you to rise for the university anthem. May I now invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor to present the bouquets to the Honorable Governor Sri Arif Muhammad Khan and the Honorable Minister of State Sri V. Muralidharan. If hearts are conquered, minds will fall in line. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor believes in ruling with the heart. I have great pleasure in welcoming Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University of Kerala, to deliver the welcome address.
Honorable Governor Sri Arif Muhammad Khan ji, Honorable Minister of State, External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Sri Muralidharan ji, Executive Council members, deans, heads, officers, faculty, staff, research scholars, my dear students, distinguished invitees and media friends. Ellavarkkum namaskaram. Good morning and welcome to the 12th Foundation Day celebrations of the Central University of Kerala. This day, the Central University of Kerala started functioning the day when the first Vice Chancellor took charge to administer, to start a new academic chapter, to serve the socio-economic and cultural needs of the country. I am thankful to the Government of India for entrusting me with this great responsibility of serving the cause of education from Kasaragod, the land of Sapta Bhasha Sangama Bhumi, also known as land of gods, exuding a magical charm with spectacular art forms of Teyyam, Purakali, Kolkali, Yakshagana, etc. We are indeed happy to have two dedicated and eminent personalities gracing the occasion. Please give a big hand to the two great dignitaries who are witnessing, who are gracing the occasion and who are blessing the university. The chief guest, our chief guest today, Honorable Governor Sri Arif Muhammad Khan ji, started as a student leader at Aligarh Muslim University and has held several ministerial responsibilities from energy to civil aviation in Government of India. His contributions to the Indian society are remarkable, laudable and enduring. He is a well-known knowledge man and is highly reputed for writing very thought-provoking articles and books. Thank you very much, sir. We are really blessed with your great presence. Thank you very much for being with us on this great day of the Central University of Kerala. We all welcome you, sir, with folded hands. Thank you very much. We are happy to inform that we have launched APJ Abdul Kalam Center for Extension Services to contribute to socio-economic development of rural Kerala. E. Sridharan Center for Life Skills to empower the youth by contributing to the enhancement of their life skills. And a village adoption scheme is going to be launched to develop a village level model plan for the overall development of a village. The other guest of honor, Sri Muralidharanji, who has been a great friend of Central University of Kerala, I think for a very long time. Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs has been in the service of society through Akhila Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad for decades. He made a formal entry into politics during 1998 Lok Sabha elections. He served as Vice Chairman of Nehru Yuva Kendra and made tremendous contributions for the empowerment of youth in the country. Please give a big hand to Muralidharanji. Sir, we could understand the concern and love you have for the state of Kerala and also Indian society. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us, and we all welcome you wholeheartedly for this great day. I welcome once again Executive Council members, deans, heads, officers, faculty, staff, research scholars, my dear students, distinguished invitees, and media friends. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your energizing address. ACE performance in academics is always the priority of a premier educational institution. May I now invite Professor K.P. Suresh, Dean Academic, to present a brief report of the academic projects and achievements of the Central University of Kerala.
Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Ahmed Khan, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of External Affairs, Sri V. Muralidharan, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor H. Venkateswarlu, respected Registrar, Dr. N. Muralidharan Nambiar, distinguished invited guests of the day, respected Deans of Faculties, Heads of Departments, Research Scholars, Faculty Members, non-teaching staff, and students, and my dear friends. It is my proud privilege to present before you a brief account of the academic activities of Central University of Kerala for the year 2021. As of now, we have 2,359 students enrolled, out of which 1,511 are females, 64%, and 848 males, 36%. Teaching staff. There are 114 teachers working on a permanent basis, out of which 36 are female teachers, 32%, and 78 are male teachers, 68%. There is a wide spectrum of teachers recruited from 19 states, and students are represented from 20 states. International students. There are international students admitted to PG and PhD programs from Malawi, Ghana, Sudan, and Bangladesh. Number of PhDs awarded. 52 PhDs are awarded by the university. 6 more PhDs are to be placed in the next meeting of the Executive Council. That is to say, our university has produced 58 PhD theses within a minimum period of 9 years since its inception for the PhD program in the university. Online classes during COVID-19. In COVID-19 pandemic period, the classes were held online mode, online teaching and online learning. About 100 webinars were conducted by various departments. The examinations were also conducted using online mode. To the science faculty batch students for performing their practical works, offline, face-to-face hands-on experiences were provided. The first phase of the students completed their practicals, and the second phase of students will come within a couple of days. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor had constituted a team to launch BS Finance, a 4-year interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary course program, which is skill-based and is fully employable course to take a lead in the country. COVID Lab. The Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology acted as a COVID-19 laboratory in this period, and more than 65,000 samples were tested for RT-PCR. Patents received. Our faculty and students won international recognition by bagging patents. 1. Dr. Rajesh R. and Ms. Aditya V. bagged patent in the sign language field. Dr. Rajesh, Dr. Taslima and Mr. Fasil bagged patent in artificial intelligence. Professor Dr. Tangappan from the Department of Public Health and Community Medicine is recognized as one among the top 5% scientists in the whole world. Yes, we are getting ready. We are hopeful of getting into A+ in the coming NAC certification program. We are aiming to be one of the top 10 central universities in the country. Let our vision 2025 be a reality. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your succinct and comprehensive report. Sri V. Muralidharan, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, has on more than one occasion graced the Central University of Kerala with his benediction and guidance in his capacity as a veteran administrator and statesman. I have great pleasure in inviting Sri V. Muralidharan, who is our guest of honor today, to address the gathering.
Honorable Governor of Kerala, His Excellency Shri Arif Mohammad Khan Ji, Vice Chancellor of Central University Shri H. Venkateshwara Ji, Dean Academic of the Central University of Kerala, the faculty, students and staff of this university, Namaskaram and good morning to all of you. I am extremely delighted to be here in celebrating with you all the foundation day of this prestigious university. Let me extend to all of you my greetings on the foundation day to the Central University, its faculty, academicians, researchers, students and staff. To each one of you, it's a special occasion to remember, acknowledge achievements of the university and envision the future with hope and aspirations. During the last 11 years, the university has truly grown into an institute of national repute. And I am really delighted to hear when the Dean Academic presented the brief report of the academic activities of the university, wherein he mentioned that almost 20 states of the country are represented from among the student fraternity. 4 countries of the world are represented here among the students, and I am really delighted that I can tell you that I had the opportunity to visit 2 of them, Malawi and Ghana. Very recently in the month of January, I was there for the inauguration of the new president, the president who was re-elected in Ghana. So Kerala Central University, even though Kerala is in the southernmost corner of the state and this place is considered to be a tip of the stage, on one end of the stage. This has now started, it has attracted teachers and students from across the country. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the present Vice Chancellor, the former Vice Chancellors and all the faculty and students who have become the parcel of the growth journey. Over the last 11 years, this university has been making constant efforts in providing quality education through holistic teaching methodology that accommodates diverse linguistic, scientific and cultural traditions of the country. Founded on the vision of caring wisdom, the university has been nurturing students, researchers, innovators, social scientists and entrepreneurs. It's a matter of great pleasure and satisfaction that the university has marked its space in the educational map of India. This is due to the sheer hard work and dedication that you have all showcased during these years. Let me also compliment you for sparing your hostel space for the COVID-19 patients. Through this, you have shown the commitment, care and responsibility to the society. My dear young friends, educational institutions are important pillars in a society. The institutions bring in desired change in individuals by nurturing their full potential, thus bringing positive changes in the society. It goes without saying that academicians and researchers have a huge responsibility in making the learning environment as conducive as possible. This is important to enable each student to bring in their best out of them. I can see myself that there is a wonderful learning environment in this university. I place my compliments to the university, the academicians, researchers and staff for creating an enabling environment for students to transform into capable and innovative citizens of this nation. Dear friends, you, the young minds and youth, are true representation of India. As you all know, India as a nation is very young among the world. The average age of an Indian is only 28. The demographic dividend ensures potential addition to the working age group in the coming years. The nation has the wisdom of our civilization that bases its life, its way of life, on the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and readies itself to scale new heights in technological advancement of the modern era. Having understood the needs of the aspirational India and the demographic advantage that India has now and which will be there in the coming 20 years, the government has been according priorities and emphasis on the development of youth. Initiatives like Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup and Stand Up India are all designed to skill and reskill the youth and the working population to match the needs of the 21st century technology-dependent world. The government has been undertaking reforms in sectors, especially in education and entrepreneurship, to train youth to the most suitable tool of the global workforce and make India Atmanirbhar or self-reliant. Friends, with the world in a state of transition, there are implications for nearly every aspect of society, not only for universities and higher educational institutions. Education is so critical in this shift of the world. It is critical because the transitions we are experiencing are centered on one essential element, that is, I would put that in inverted commas, knowledge. The new education policy of 2020 is an important step towards gearing up our young generation as the most precious human capital of the world. The new education policy would transform higher education by making it more holistic and multidisciplinary with a focus on skilling, entrepreneurship and excellence in quality, including in vocational courses. Central University of Kerala has a greater responsibility to shoulder in this critically important juncture. I am confident that Central University of Kerala is capable of doing it and will take every step meticulously to realize the dream of our nation. Government of India under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, is committed to build our higher education institutions into centers of learning that attract international attention. I hope the Central University of Kerala will steer this from the front and show the world our capabilities. So I would like to conclude. Before I conclude, I just want to read out a passage from the Taittiriya Upanishad, which is an address by the teacher to his students as they leave the Gurukula or the educational institutions in the present day context. It says, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyaya Mama Pramadha. Speak the truth, abide by your dharma, never be ideal in your studies. So, friends, my request I would like to put before you is, speak the truth, abide by your dharma, know your mother, father and guru, like you respect the gods and goddesses. Do your duty, serve the nation. Once again, I extend my greetings and good wishes to the students and faculty of the Central University of Kerala on this momentous occasion, and do continue to innovate and keep growing. Thank you for the attention and Jai Hind. Namaskar.
धन्यवाद मुरलीधरन सर, आपके मूल्यवान शब्दों के लिए केरल केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय आपका आभार व्यक्त करता है। माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान जी की नियुक्ति केरल राज्यपाल के पद पर 1 सितंबर 2019 में भारत के राष्ट्रपति माननीय श्री रामनाथ कोविंद के आदेशानुसार हुई थी। माननीय श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान ने 6 सितंबर 2019 को कार्यभार संभाला। केरल केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय के लिए सौभाग्य की बात है कि आज हमारे बीच माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय मौजूद हैं। आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सर। अब मैं केरल के माननीय राज्यपाल श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान जी से गुजारिश करती हूँ कि वे 15वें स्थापना दिवस पर हमें प्रोत्साहन देते हुए अनुग्रहित करें। माननीय राज्यपाल श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान जी।
Thank you very much. Shri V. Muralidharan ji, Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Kerala, Dean Academic, Registrar, very respectable members of the faculty and fellow students. I always try to identify myself with the students, not only because you are young, but because you are seekers of knowledge. And I hope, I wish, and I pray that I continue to seek knowledge till my last breath. Thank you very much for inviting me to address the university community on the occasion of 12th Foundation Day, and I believe you are adding some more building to your infrastructure. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with the academic community of Central University. I am so happy to share your joy and pride as your university crosses another milestone in its journey towards academic excellence. It is good to see the university regularly adding to its infrastructure so as to make the campus self-sufficient. We all know about the history of this university, which was set up along with 16 other central universities, and Shri Muralidharan ji has made my job easy because he has dwelt at length about the importance of education, the significance of your pursuits. Therefore, I am going to skip 10 pages of my prepared speech. And with your permission, I can say that I associate myself fully with what Shri Muralidharan ji has articulated, and I am sure that you will appreciate and you shall appropriate the message contained in his remarks. It is education. I had my prepared speech where I planned to speak about the importance of these subjects and the important role which this university is playing, and the benefits which this university has brought to Kerala, particularly this backward region. But now I'm going to skip that, but will make one point: caring wisdom is your noble vision that guides the progress of this institution. And I'm so happy to notice the symbiotic relationship which you have developed with this region. Universities need to become catalysts of scientific and economic change and harbingers of social justice by democratizing knowledge. We expect universities to bestow on citizens quality education, equality of opportunities, and consequently social equity. I am reminded of the words of Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, our former president and a great teacher and thinker. He believed that the program of a university was expected to keep pace with the development of life and the progress of society, and that a university, by its very definition, has to have a universal outlook. For it, nothing human is alien. Its function is to develop a world community. But apart from, this is very welcome thing, and our tradition also exhorts us to, just now Mulli ji had quoted Vasudev Kutumbakam, but other than that, those who first how to engage in the pursuit of knowledge. The Indian tradition says tapas swadhyay nirittam, ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. In fact, Swami Vivekananda goes to the extent of saying that the purpose of human life is pursuit of knowledge. And another Mahavak which comes to us from our tradition is Ano Bhadra Kirtavo Yantu Vishvata. Let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. In fact, a saying of Dr. Radhakrishnan comes to my mind. He said, I am not interested in the ancestry of ideas. What I am interested in is harmony of thought. And this is the India which our sages always remember, that India's ideal and India's icons who have shown the path have always been our sages, our rishis, the mantra-drishtas. India has not recognized the army generals or those who simply hold power. But as Swami Vivekananda says, the Indian soul is India. Not just because it is one of the most ancient civilizations. In fact, there were civilizations, you have, we have the academics whose main subject of study is civilizations. They know better than me that there have been more ancient civilizations like Sumerian, like Babylonian, like Greek, like Egyptian. But all these today, Egypt, or for that matter, Greece, they have the same geographical area as it was during the ancient times. But those civilizations have become subject matter of study of archaeologists and anthropologists. Whereas there is, everybody acknowledges and recognizes that Indian civilization is a continuity. Almost the same geographical area. I'm not claiming that it was politically it was one unit, but definitely culturally it was one unit. And the civilization and culture, the basic values of that civilization and culture, which created the thread of unity and made the people of India who there is a I think it is from some Upanishad which says that Bharateshu Striya Purusho Nana Varna Pirkirtite Nana Dev Archane Yukta Nana Karmani Kurvate. The shloka highlights the tremendous diversity in India. The Indian women and men, they belong varna, different colors of the skin, all different races. They worship different gods, and their customs and rituals are very different. So possibly one of the factor or one of the source of strength of Indian civilization which ensured its continuity is its capacity to reconcile diversity, maintain the diverse identities while keeping the diverse identities intact, creating a bond of emotional and mental unity, cultural unity, civilizational unity. And this unity, always remember, please tell me when I am exceeding the time limit. Look at the whole world, different civilizations. Human beings cannot live in isolation. If they have to live in security, then there must be stability in the society. And to create stability in the society the world over, what has been the basis, the guiding principle of creating stability in society? If you look at the world, say till about 200 years back, don't take the developments of last 200 to 50 years into consideration, then what has been the guiding principle? The societies were organized on the basis of either race, language, or religion. When you organize a society on the basis of race, then people belonging to other races are excluded. When you organize a society based on language, then people who speak other languages are excluded. When you organize a society on the basis of religious faith, similarity of religious practices, similarity of religious belief, then those who subscribe to different beliefs, they are excluded. What has been the basis of the organization of Indian society? The defining principle of Indian society has been neither race, nor language, nor religious faith. Then what was the defining principle? Defining principle was Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. The divinity dwells in each being, and it is that divinity which brings us together. Once you recognize divinity, once you recognize Atma, which is the embodiment of divinity in human body, then nobody is excluded. Nobody is excluded. And that is the reason that India has been home to not only every religion of the world, any religion which is found anywhere in the world, you will find the followers here. Every race, people belonging to different language groups. And more important than that, and Swami Vivekananda had referred to this aspect, India has been home to the persecuted of the world. India has also attracted people who invaded and established their rule here. But the thing which we do not talk about is that people who were persecuted anywhere in the world, they found shelter and refuge in India. Swami Vivekananda, in his speech to World Parliament, he said, "I am proud to belong to a nation which received the Jews in the year when their temple was desecrated and demolished. I am proud to belong to a nation which received Christians in the first century itself, much before Christianity reached Europe. I am proud to belong to a country, to a civilization which embraced the Zoroastrians when it became difficult for them to live peacefully in their own land." Few years back, I had written an article which is also part of my book. India, home of the persecuted Sayyids, the descendants of the Holy Prophet. The students and teachers of the Muslim history here, they know fully well how 48 years after the death of Holy Prophet, with one or two exceptions, all male members of the Holy Prophet were butchered in the field of Karbala. And then later, when those who had survived, they were living very quiet life, had devoted themselves to intellectual pursuits, had nothing to do with the state or politics, but still they were hounded. They were perceived as threat to the political establishment, to those who had taken charge of the polity which had come into existence under the guidance of the Holy Prophet. And the history says that almost every leading member of that family was either poisoned or killed by the political establishment. In fact, here I would like those who are associated with the Department of History, particularly Muslim history, to look into this matter. People talk a great deal about how Sindh was conquered by Muhammad bin Qasim. But the alternative version is that the king of Sindh had given shelter to some descendants or sympathizers of the descendants of the Holy Prophet in Sindh, because they, in order to save their lives, they came to Sindh and they sought shelter. He promised them peace. Hajjaj, who was the governor of the Umayya dynasty, he wrote a letter to the king of Sindh saying, hand over these families. When the king said that I have promised safety to them, I cannot hand them over to you. It was then that he dispatched a military contingent led by his own nephew, who, if you want to call it conquest, he conquered the Sindh. But this was basically the king of Sindh lost his kingdom because he wanted to honor the word which had given to the descendants of the Prophet. So India, in fact this was, I went astray. Basically the point I was making was that India, the defining principle has always been Atma. And that is why with the march of Indian civilization started with the proclamation Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. The truth, the supreme truth, Haq, is one. Those who know it, they describe it variously. Leave no scope for conflict on the basis of color of the skin or religious faith of the person or the language one speaks. But the message was given that Swami Vivekananda has said it, that he says we do not tolerate. He says when somebody talks of tolerance, it sounds like blasphemy. As if the person is trying to tell me that I can practice my faith because of his good conduct. He said he has no business. This is each individual's birthright. And that is why again I would like to refer to Swami Vivekananda. He said that this belief in the divinity of mankind has blessed Indian culture with a universal vision. The Indian culture does not view a person in terms of the variable and alienable factors, that is, factors associated with the birth, whether it is race, it is caste, it is religious faith, it is language. Rather, it views a person in terms of the inalienable and invariable factor, that is divinity of mankind. Once we accept this principle of divinity of man, Swami Vivekananda, in a letter to Sister Nivedita, he says, my mission can be explained in very simple words. I want to teach, the words are important. I want to teach unto mankind their divinity and its manifestation in all movements of life. He did not say, I want to teach to Indians or India or people belonging to one denomination. No. We believe in the divinity of mankind. Divinity, in fact, divinity of the sentient beings. We see divine in everything. This has been the Indian Welton Shavam. The world view of India is where we see divinity in everything. You are, I would like to, I said earlier, I'm not going to speak much. on the subject which has been covered by Shri Muralidharanji. But since you are having your 12th foundation day, I want to share some thoughts with you. You know, which I feel are very important. My view. If somebody disagrees, perfectly fine. There is an Upanishadic story which says how to live a purposeful life. What is the essence of good life? And at the moment before the teacher could reply to this question, there were clouds in the air, and there was a thunder clap. Da, da, da. Then the teacher smiled and says that if you can make out, the answer is in this da, da and da. What is the answer? First da is Dhamma. You have to be in control of your indriyas. You have to be in control of your senses. If you want to live a happy, purposeful life, then you should not be driven by your desires. You should have control over your desires. Self-control, self-restraint, whatever you want to call it. Then what is second da? The second da is Dan. Datta. You have been blessed with some goods. Good things. You have knowledge, you have physical strength, you have intellect, you have certain skill. Every of these attributes must be used for the benefit of others. On Datta, I suddenly remember a young girl of Dr. Radhakrishnan has in one of his speech he mentioned it, that a young girl from Kerala went to Tirupati. Young girl, and she was heard saying to the deity, Ratna Karas Tava Girham Jayacha Lakshmi Kim Deyam Asti Bhavte Purushottamaya. Your home is Ratnakar, the sea which is full of pearls and all kind of wealth. You are wedded to prosperity, Lakshmi. Then what can I offer you? I have come here, Purushottam, what can I offer you? Then she says, Abhir Gopa Lalana Hirta Manasaya. But I know your heart has been stolen by the gopis of Vrindavan. And I offer you my heart, take it quickly. Dattam maname tvaritam girha. This sentiment which comes from the bhakti actually is the product of the Vedantic philosophy. So, one who believes in the divinity of mankind, for him, no one is the other, cannot be other. Why? Because the divinity in me recognizes the divinity which dwells in you. I think I have taken enough time, but few more words. You are passing the Indian stages of life, 4 stages of life. Brahmacharya, which the students who are pursuing their courses. Brahmacharya is a term which has been used for the students in ancient Indian tradition. So what is the purpose of this period which you are spending here? Acquisition of knowledge and preparing you to enter the Girhastha. When you enter the Girhastha, then how you should conduct yourself. This is only a period to prepare you. It has been said, I do not remember who has said it, this is not my original thought, but I don't remember who has said it. He said, in India there is, the Indian tradition does not make a distinction between the spiritual. The word used has been spiritual and the secular. Why? Because it is the secular life which ultimately culminates into the spiritual. First is Brahmacharya, second is Grihastha, third is Vanprast, forest walker, and fourth is sannyas, renunciation. So you are being prepared to enter the Grihastha ashram, and how you will live your Grihastha ashram while making your preparation. If you are preparing yourself for IAS, you try to know what the IAS, what are the duties of the IAS or IPS or any other branch. You try to know if you are interested in that. You must be interested, you must be equally interested to know what are the demands of the Grihastha ashram. The Indian tradition says, Brahma Nishto Girhastha Syat Tat Gyan Parayana Yad Yat Karma Pirkirvita Tad Brahmani Samarpaye. You have to live your life as a household where every action must be done in the spirit of offering devotion to your deity. When you go to the place of worship to offer your devotion, whomsoever you may worship, then you go with a pure mind, you go with a pure heart, you say the best words, you offer the best things which you have. The Indian tradition says every action of a Grihastha must be done in the spirit of offering devotion to the Brahma. Then can we afford, if we truly live by Indian traditions, can we afford to be profane? Can we afford to be casual? Can we afford to be insincere? No, we cannot. And here I would come back to this same, the continuity of Indian civilization. There's a verse in the Holy Quran. It is part of the verse which says, please, I think this is very important. This is a basic principle. Quran says, فَأَمَّا الزَّبَدُ فَيَذْهَبُ جُفَاءً وَأَمَّا مَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسَ فَيَمْكُثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Quran gives the example simile of the floods and the goldsmith who melts the gold to make ornaments. And using these two similes, Quran says that the froth which comes on the molten gold and the froth which comes on the waters, it is useless, so it disappears. But whatever is, please, these are great words, but whatever is beneficial to mankind, not any particular group, whatever is beneficial to mankind, that survives, that abides on earth. So we have to, if we want to live a life of purpose, always, even any day you can experience it. If you have any opportunity any day to wipe the tears of somebody who is in distress, who is in pain, and you have successfully wiped the tears of that person, that night you will sleep very peacefully. Try to become beneficial to this society, to your family, to this society, to your state, to your country, and humanity at large. Mulli ji had referred to, and I am concluding with that, Mulli ji had referred to Satyam Vad Dharmam Cha. Dr. Radhakrishnan says that today is your foundation day, but Dr. Radhakrishnan says this is the best convocation address for any university. The story behind, this is the lesson which was given by Guru Dronacharya to the Kaurav and Pandav princes on the first day. In the evening they were asked to repeat it. Everybody repeated it with the sole exception of Yudhishthira, who is known as Dharmraj. Dharmraj could not repeat Satyam Vad Dharmam Cha. He was admonished, he was chided, upbraided every day. But he said, I could not learn the lesson. And somewhere at the end of his life, he said, the lesson which was imparted to me on the first day, it took a lifetime to learn that lesson. Because learning a lesson does not mean to commit it to your memory. Does not mean to repeat it parrot-like. Knowledge must be, you must live that knowledge which you have acquired. It is essential. So I would like to thank you very much for listening to me very patiently. And once again I thank you, HSS Sahab, for inviting me to this very, very important function when you have completed 12 years and you have 11 years. 11 years you have completed. 11 years and 6 months. Okay. So I congratulate you all, and I am sure, I am confident that you will acknowledge the responsibility which you have on your shoulders, and you will take this, you will strive, you will do your best to bring this university into top universities of not only India but of the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Nanni Jai Hind.
धन्यवाद सर, आपके प्रेरणादायक प्रोत्साहन के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आगे माननीय राज्यपाल और माननीय राज्य मंत्री जी को हमारी ओर से छोटी सी भेंट दी जाएगी। माननीय राज्यपाल और माननीय राज्य मंत्री जी से अनुरोध है कि भेंट स्वीकार कर हमारा मान बढ़ाएं।
Now it's our turn to express our infinite love and gratitude to the Honorable Governor and the Honorable Minister. May I now invite the Registrar, Central University of Kerala, Dr. Muralidharan Nambiar, to present the shawl to the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan. Professor K.P. Suresh, Dean Academic, will present the shawl to the Honorable Minister of State, Sri V. Muralidharan. May I now invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University of Kerala, Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, to present the mementos to the Honorable Governor and the Honorable Minister. We are coming to the close of the ceremony. May I now invite Dr. M. Muralidharan Nambiar, Registrar, Central University of Kerala, to propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan, Sri V. Muralidharan, Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Central University of Kerala, Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, Professor K.P. Suresh, Dean Academic, members of Executive Council, Finance Committee, Building Committee, Academic Council and Corps, Deans of various schools, faculty members, staff, students and parents, media personnel and distinguished guests who have assembled here. Foundation Day is the most prestigious day in the history of the university. At the outset, let me express my gratitude to the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan, for adorning this function with his magnanimous presence and deliverance of the 12th Foundation Day speech. On behalf of the Central University of Kerala, let me extend you, sir, our heartfelt thanks. Now, I extend my gratitude to the Honorable Minister, Sri V. Muralidharan, for his presence to grace this occasion in this auspicious day in spite of his busy schedule. Thank you, sir. It is my turn now to imprint thankfulness to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Central University of Kerala, Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, for delivering the welcome address as being the leading source, strength and inspiration of the entire program. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to thank Professor K.P. Suresh, Dean Academic, members of Executive Council, Finance Committee, Building Committee, Academic Council, Corps and Finance Officer, and all other distinguished guests for being dynamic part of this grand function. My thank goes to the Deans of Schools, Head of the Departments, faculty members, non-teaching staff, research scholars, students and parents of Central University of Kerala. Last but not least, my sincere thanks is due to the media personnel, including the print media, visual media, district administration, police personnel, and medical wing for their support and coverage of this program. It is the time to express my sincere thanks once again to all who made this function as a notable and memorable one. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. With that, we have come to the close of the ceremony. I request you to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. Please make a note of the following. All the Executive Council members, deans and heads of departments may depart immediately to the Nilagiri guest house to attend the inauguration of the new guest house. Executive Council members, deans and heads of departments are requested to depart to the Nilagiri guest house immediately. I also request you to avail yourselves of the